Hello, this is Old Total Warrior. Welcome to my Rome Total War Julii Aggressive Start Strategy Campaign video. I'm going to do this video on very hard difficulty. The difficulty level may make a difference on how the AI reacts with its units. So if you try this campaign on, say, hard or medium difficulty, you may not get the same situations and some of the advice might not apply. Just to note, if you start as a short campaign, you can convert that to an Imperial campaign, and of course if you win the Imperial campaign, you can then go for a whole map campaign. If you start as the Imperial campaign and not the short campaign, you can't convert to a short campaign. Alright, since we're Romans, we'll have a Senate mission, and the Senate mission for the Julii is always to take Segesta. We have 10 turns. It will not take 10 turns. It will take 1 turn. Take a quick look at the Julii. 2 cities, 1 spy, 1 diplomat. Not a great selection of generals. There are 4 of them, and the faction leader is 47. That's actually really pretty young for a faction leader, so that is a good thing if you're playing as the Julii. Now, first thing I want to do is move this army down to the fleet, but let's look at the fleet first and see the range of movement. Now when we look at the army and move those troops down there, that's Vibius's little army, the movement range is dropped, of course. We'll also put the diplomat on the ships, and we're going to take the ships down here because we're going after Corollis. That's right here. Now if you want to use exploits, there is the naval movement exploit, which is to do this. Click on the individual ships and it restores the movement to the original movement range. It disregards those troops. I'm going to put it down here because I want to show you what happens when you use the exploit. Now it doesn't matter for taking Corollis. You can still get to Corollis on turn 2 if you don't use the exploit. You just have to be real careful on how you use your movement. But what using the exploit does is enables you on turn 2 to move the ships around to that side of the island. You get a little bit more movement out of it. Now, the next thing up is to take Segesta. And I want to take Segesta before I move generals out of my cities, and I will explain why that is the case in a minute. After I take Segesta, I'm going to take a general, happens to be the faction leader and the archer. Romans do start out, the Julii do start out with 1 archer, and that's good. Archers are very useful against barbarian towns. Take the 2 Hastati from Iridium, move them over there, and we will take Segesta. Now this is a battle. It's very easy. In fact, you just use the archers to shoot up these guys, 1 warband and 1 peasants, and you should suffer very, very few casualties. Auto-resolve will give me a lot of casualties, about 100. That's pretty much average for the auto-resolve, but don't do that. Fight the battle. Now I'm going to occupy Segesta. You could also enslave or exterminate. Exterminate really doesn't make any sense in this situation. Enslave will give you 450 slaves, but since you're Romans, half those slaves are going to go to Rome to build up Rome, so that eventually it gets to 24,000 and you get the Marius reforms. So only half of them go to build up your cities, and you do get the you may get the slavement bonus. We don't have enough roads right now, but when your roads are built, you might see the plus 0.5% population growth. I'm going to just occupy because I want Segesta to build its population up. So I can build a port there pretty quickly, because I basically use Segesta for money making, and that's a port. Alright, now that I've taken Segesta, I get the bonus. They gave me 5,000 denarii, and I picked up 50 for taking the town. So now, let's look at the factionaire in Iridium. He has the trait of very lively. That gives him a 10% discount on construction costs. I don't know if you can read it. It's on the last line in the little box. And in Arminum, Quintus Julius has the trait of lively, which gives him a 5% discount on construction costs. So we want to queue up our construction while those generals are there, because that will save us a little bit of money. Now in our minimum, I like to build stable so I can start recruiting equites and a port and a road, a trader, improve the farming maybe. It's not a really good bargain. And a temple. We actually save about 270 by doing that. In Iridium, the roads, see how much I save here. I didn't calculate that before 1080, so we save 120 there. Trader, save 60 there, so we're up to 180. If we do the farming, that's another 120, that's 300, and 40 for the temple. Don't think I'll build a practice range here because I just want to recruit a study here, and there's no point in building additional walls whatsoever. And I rarely build walls beyond one level because the idea is to go out and take your enemy's towns and not give them the opportunity to build armies that can attack you. Take Quintus, move him up there, and kick aside the Gaul diplomat. Add these troops. Pick up Lucius. And my spy. I'll go up there. Alright. Now we have 2 town watch in Arminum. Take 1 town watch and move him over to Iridium. Okay, so I believe I've done all the movement. Do have to build the governor's house in Segesta. And now we're going to raise tax rates because I follow a high tax strategy. I think that works much better than a low tax strategy. You get money early in the game when you need it. Money now is worth more than money later. It's the time value of money. And oh yes, I have to do some recruiting. Or I should say I have some recruiting to do, and we'll get an Astadi in Iridium and a peasant in Aruminum. Can't recruit anything in Segesta, of course. Looks good. Move on to turn 2. The Gauls will offer trade, and this is something that's useful. Get money on your trade agreements. I see people on YouTube, they're good players, but they don't get this free money. You can almost always get 1,000 or at least a few hundred in a trade agreement. So we're going to give them trade and maps. We could ask for maps, but I've pretty well got the map memorized. By now I've played this so many times. So we get a free 1,000 denarii. And we get a mission to take Patavium. The second mission is pretty random. It can be Patavium, it can be Corollas, it can be Narbo Martius. I don't remember any other possibilities. And this says we'll get a unit of Triari. I'd rather get 5,000, but that doesn't happen very often. We do have some money. Construction at the governor's house, and we did recruit a couple of units. Sometimes you'll get a marriage to one of the daughters in the family. It didn't happen this time, and sometimes you get rebels pop up, and right there they are. That puts a little bit of crimp on things because I did want to move this guy up, but it looks like I'm going to need to keep him there and build a little army to defeat those rebels. That's not actually a bad thing because those rebels will give me an opportunity to create a general with a man of the hour sometime. Now we're going to move this ship around here. We need to be a little careful because there's this Carthaginian fleet that's there. We'll take our diplomat, go to Corollas and try to make a trade deal. And the Carthaginians are not as agreeable as the Gauls when it comes to trade. They will make a counter offer. That's actually a pretty good counter offer. I'll probably get 600. So we picked up another 600 free denarii. Move the diplomat aside. Get this army out. We have plenty of movement points for the army. Move the army next to Corrales. There are mercenaries available. I don't need them right now, so I won't recruit them. And I'm going to move the fleet around up over to here. And this is possible because I used the exploit. If I hadn't done that, the fleet would be stuck over here. Again, it's up to you if you want to use the exploits or not. This rebel presents a problem because I want to not only I wanted to take this town watch and move him over to Segesta to be a garrison. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to do that, so I'll have to recruit a peasant in Segesta. Now, this is a point I thought of not too long ago. I want people into Segesta, so the next thing I should do, since I don't have any generals in any cities except Segesta, is make this attack here. What I want to do is take the army, not the spy, just the army, and move over to here, next to Batavium, and attack the army that stands next to Batavium. This army, that will draw out this. That's a couple war bands maybe, and a cavalry unit, something like that. Maybe, I don't know, 2 war bands, something. Not sure exactly what the composition of that is. Maybe a war band and 2 regular infantry army, 2 units, something like that. In any event, when this battle destroy both armies, take Batavium. Now, if you enslave Batavium, half the slaves would go to Segesta, and half would go to Rome. And this is a pretty good sized city. It's 3,000 or 4,000 people. Let's send a spy in there. 2,700, so you'd get 1,350, 625 into Segesta, which helps on getting it to 2,000. That's one reason too. I wanted to move a unit from here to garrison Segesta, so I wouldn't have to create a garrison from that town. But so if you don't win this battle, if you win the battle, but don't destroy both armies, move the spy into Batavium, and you would have a 40% chance I guess I didn't move him in there. You have a 40% chance of taking the city on the second turn anyway, so you have 2 shots. And if you don't need to move the spy over there, then you can just stick the spy into Mediolanium. Mediolanium right now has a general in it. Now, I'll take this army and move it out, and remember that it will be much larger. It will be virtually full strength in your campaign because you didn't auto-resolve. And this army will come over here and attack and destroy this Gallic army on the way to attacking Mediolanium. Okay. That is basically it. We'll take Corrales. And from here, well, since we have a mission to take Batavium, we may get the mission, and we'll take Corrales. We'll probably get the Narbo Martius mission next. But from Corrales, we'll want to go west to Palma. There are more mercenaries available there. There's a Carthaginian town there to take. And you can stop off in Spain, pick up some more mercenaries, and come up here and take the mission city of Narbo Martius. Massilia is here. There's also a rebel city there, although it might be under German or Gallic control by then. In the north, we will want to take Mediolanium, and then there's 2 rebel cities over here. There's a rebel city there. There's a rebel city here. So you can very quickly build your empire up to about 10 regions. And by the time you've done that, money should not be a problem. And then you can choose to go on aggressively in however you choose. Go into Spain, go into Gaul, go into Germany, come around here. Maybe move into this region to choke off the Brudii from expanding if you want. It's all up to you, but this should get you off to a really good start. believe that's it. The two main points are get money when you do trade and make sure to do the constructing in those cities. That way it's all queued up for you. And of course, if for some reason you can change your mind, move things around, and you can also cancel something if you're short on money for some reason. You can cancel one of the buildings. It's not real important, like maybe one of the temples. You don't really need that because you'll keep population under control with recruiting, something like that. All right, I think that's it. So thanks for watching, and post any questions or comments on YouTube.